Birds Connect Our World is a theme for 2020 World Migratory Bird Day, chosen to highlight the importance of conserving and restoring the ecological connectivity and integrity of ecosystems that support the natural movements of migratory birds and that are essential for their survival and well-being. Birds tend to move from extremely harsh and cold winter to warmer places where resources are in abundance. This is the nature of migratory birds that constitute about 40% of the world's bird population. They are fascinating, fly in flocks of interesting shapes across continents through hundreds of thousands of kilometers and enrich the aesthetics of the place where they decide to settle for the season. Here is a list of most stunning migratory birds worldwide. Greater flamingo. The greater flamingo is the most widespread of the flamingo family. It is found in Africa, on the Indian subcontinent, in the Middle East, and in southern Europe. The greater flamingo is the largest living species of flamingo, averaging between 110 to 150 centimeters and weighing between 2 to 4 kilograms. They feed on small crustaceans, molluscs, worms, insects, small fish, and sometimes even plants. During the colder times of the year, many of the greater flamingos in Asia migrate to warmer climates, generally to Iran or India. Their migratory habits, having been hugely impacted by the environmental changes, have shortened their migration span. The common teal. They get their name from the bright, shiny streak of teal on their necks. This noisy species belongs to the family of ducks and are mainly found in northern and central Asia and also in Europe. They are also among the earliest spring migrants, arriving to their nests as soon as the snow starts melting. They start their journey by February and continue through March, arriving in huge numbers in early April. Their diet vary with the season. In winter, they turn into vegan migratory birds surviving on tender shoots and grains, while in the breeding season they survive on a diet of molluscous worms, insects, and their larvae. Snowy owl. With pure white feathers marked with brown spotting which screams of its Arctic origins, the snowy owl looks magnificent. These birds are very territorial and would defend their nests against any predator. These migratory owls sometimes stay put year-round in their northern breeding grounds but are frequent migrants to Canada, the northern United States, Europe, and Asia. Availability of rodents, their favorite food, may determine the extent of southern migration. In summers, they are found in open fields, marshes, and beaches. They are heavy and strong and fast, having the ability to knock down a full-grown man. The hummingbird. They get their names from the humming sound their wings make when they soar in the sky. Although these birds travel in the same direction, they do it alone to avoid detection by predators. They make two long migration journeys, one northward and the other southwards in a year. They are very small and can only be distinguished when they flock together. In spring, they migrate to the north from South America and Mexico up to Canada to get to their breeding grounds early enough to claim the best feeding territories. These hummingbird migration can begin as early as February in Mexico and finish in mid-May in Canada and Alaska. In the fall, they travel southwards between July and October. Cuckoo. The cuckoo are strategists and famous for their melodious voice. They travel to warmer climates for food. The lesser cuckoos fly from Africa to India, and the common cuckoo of Europe flies non-stop over the Mediterranean Sea and the Sahara Desert on the voyage between Europe and Central Asia. Instead of building their own nest, they use the nests of host birds. When a female cuckoo finds a suitable nest, she lays her own eggs by removing one of the eggs of the host bird when it is not looking. The young ones have evolved colors so as to resemble the young one of the host. The red knot. These Arctic shoebirds migrate in flocks covering about 30,000 kilometers every year and can fly for 7 to 8 days without stopping or feeding. The stops along the way are therefore extremely important for their survival. Their diet consists of tiny mussels and clams, horseshoe crab eggs, and sea worms. These tiny birds are facing threats to their survival due to climate change, overfishing, and ocean acidification, which has affected the quality and quantity of food available in shorelines. bar-tailed godwit. Bar-tailed godwit undertake the longest non-stop migrations. These birds have red breeding plumage and a long upturned bill that helps them to feed on bristleworms and shellfish on coastal mudflats and estuaries. They spend the northern hemisphere summer in the Arctic, where they breed, and then make a long distance migration southwards in winter to more temperate areas. To fuel this journey, they carry the greatest fat loads of any migratory bird. Arctic tern. The Arctic terns are strong migratory birds traveling to experience summers twice a year. From its northern breeding grounds, it travels to the Antarctic coast for the summer and back again about 6 months later. The longest ever migration recorded for Arctic terns is about 90,000 kilometers. They are exposed to more daylight than any other bird on this planet. They eat fish and small marine invertebrates and are abundant in number, with an estimated of 1 million individuals. Peregrine falcon. The name peregrine means wanderer, and the peregrine falcon spans about a distance of 25,000 kilometers a year. Though some birds are permanent residents, many migrate. They have an incredible homing instinct that leads them back to favored areas. Some nesting sites have been in continuous use for hundreds of years, occupied by successive generations of falcons. These solitary migrant prey on other small birds, like bats. One of the fastest diving birds, the male peregrine engages in acrobatics, power dives, roller coaster-like flights, and figure-8 flights to impress the female falcons. Sandhill cranes. The migration of sandhill cranes from southern regions like Texas and New Mexico to summer breeding sites in the Arctic and subarctic is considered the most beautiful natural phenomena. These birds eat corn from the grain fields and then sleep on the sandbars on their way to the northern breeding grounds. One of its most noticeable features is the bright red patch on the forehead complemented by white cheeks. These sandhill cranes spend most of their lives in freshwater wetlands, including marshes, wet grasslands, and river basins. Sandhill cranes form a pair bond that can last for years until one of the cranes dies.